A second video on a Sunday. One of my subscribers asked me to do a video on some of the updates on the new ET5 and ET5 Touring that has just came out and is available for deliveries immediately. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. The Wealthy Mindset is yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. But before we go on with today's video, take a look at this little clip and then we shall continue.
Yeah, I do want to emphasize that the sheer number of smart, talented people in China who work very hard is amazing. The amount of there's just the sheer quantity of talent. I'm an admirer of China's capabilities. I think most people outside of China do not understand the power of China. It really is something special.
And I think that's the exact point that a lot of China bulls out there are talking about. And this is something they're saying that the Western world doesn't really understand, the talent factor. And even when it comes to AI, he seemed to hesitate a little bit when the question from David Favor was really trying to compare the U.S. and China when it comes to how embedded AI is. And he instead decided to talk about how it's difficult for Chinese companies to perhaps say no to the authorities because of the cultural difference and so on. But I think, you know, with that, I think he was trying to insinuate that there is that amazing capabilities that he is appreciating about the Chinese economy.
China. Yeah, indeed. We'll get more about. We'll talk more about China in just a bit. But you know, the U.S. side of it and energy. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the U.S. is finally now energy independent. Right, the resources are there. Right? They're net exporters of energy, right? It's more the ability to convert that energy, whether it's oil or shale or whatever, nat gas, right, into power and electricity. I think that's where the U.S. Is clearly falling short of China. And China, as we all know, is leading the world in renewable energy, right? Wind, hydro, solar, et cetera, and also building a heck of a lot of nuclear plants. But on to the point about, you know, Musk saying that, yeah, they're cranking out a lot of degree holders and, filing a lot of scientific patents. And there's just so many smart people, so much gray matter in China. But, you know, innovation has its limits when you're in a system where you can't buck authority. I want to push back on that because what a lot of people say is, you know, even in that kind of top-down communist system, right, there's a lot of decentralization. Right? Xi Jinping and the Politburo may say whatever they want, right? But it's going to be down to the provinces to actually execute. And I think that's where, as we saw with EVs, and we're likely to see with AI as well, they pretty much make their own decisions. In fact, historically, that's been one of the biggest problems for the central government, controlling the provinces. Right?
I think the question boils down to when the control is exercised. So I think over the past years, and EV is a good example of that, and that this is actually the point that Louis Vincent Gove was talking about on our air just a few weeks ago, that they let them go. The private companies do your thing, figure it out, and we will let you innovate. At some point, the central government would come in and say, okay, so there are too many of you, perhaps you can consolidate with A and B and the C and D, and then we have actually a very powerful influence in this particular sector. That has been the China playbook, and perhaps that's what's been happening, not just EVs, but in other sectors.
And I tell you what, you know, there's nothing that generates innovation and new ideas than that kind of competition. It is brutal. It is cutthroat. And you're right. You know, there are times when the Chinese government steps in and says, okay, look, this is messy, inefficient. Look, you merge with you, merge with you. Other times, the Chinese government just stands aside and goes, okay, so you didn't make it. You failed. Too bad. Right?
Yeah.
They're waiting. They're letting these guys fight it out. And they're waiting to see, okay, so who's got what it takes to make it? And, okay, so you did, despite all the challenges. So, all right, you deserve to be a champion.
Exactly. So Louis Gov was talking about how because it's a communist system that it's not going to work economically. That is the misconception that he wanted to point out, and maybe that is really the theme that we're going on about. I do want to have a line on power transformer story because Elon Musk was talking. I thought it was really cute when he was saying transformers, needing transformers for transformers.
All right, guys, welcome back. Now, I love how the lady corrected the gentleman when she said the government does not control the provinces, but the provinces actually, like we see helping NIO build out battery swap stations, the government allowed them to run. And this is something that has been in the Chinese government playbook for a long time now. When Xi Jinping came into power and started the common prosperity where everyone should benefit from the economy, not just the people at the top. It says the competition, the gentleman pointed out how the competition is brutal in China, but it's creating innovation. And this is why when some people say if the Chinese EVs come to America, the American car companies will be decimated. Maybe not. It will create competition just like when the Japanese auto industry came to America. And the American companies had to try to keep up. They were never able to keep up to Toyota, but they were able to at least create vehicles that would be close enough to where a lot of the patriotic Americans would still buy them. And they stepped up their game from the Stone Age. Now we're back into the Stone Age compared to what China and the rest of the world is buying from China. We need that competition here to create innovation yet again. He says, it creates innovation. Who gets what it takes in America to, what they do in China is they allow the companies to run and see who is the best. And then they help the best. But here in America, and I've said it before, we allow the losers to fail and then we keep bailing them out repeatedly, which has caused a huge surplus in our economy. Not a huge surplus, a huge deficit in our economy, over $36 trillion in debt. So with all this being said, let's get back to NIO. NIO launches, in my last video, I talked about it, the ET5, the ET5 Touring. It comes with 1,055 kilometer range. You heard that right. Starting at $41,000 US, but it'll be 31,500. Only 31,500 with battery as a service. This is just a little bit higher than the Model 3. Can you wrap your heads around that? It says NIO has officially launched a refresh ET5 and ET5 Touring models, introducing over 500 enhancements. 500 enhancements across design, comfort, intelligence, and performance. The standard purchase with a 75 kilowatt hour is $41,100, but it'll be $31,500 with battery as a service. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable for what you're getting. Visually, the new ET5 and ET5 Touring receive refined front-end styling with ADB intelligent multi-beam headlights, the only EV company in the world with that, and redesigned double dash LED daytime running lights alongside a more sculpted hood. The ET5 gains a new sunset purple exterior color, while the ET5 Touring adds a moonlight silver. I really like that moonlight silver, guys. Even the car I have now is silver, not moonlight silver, but I love silver cars. Both models featured redesigned glossy black trim on the bumper skirts, diffuser, and a 20-inch 5-spoke wheels with aerodynamic inserts to reduce drag. Unbelievable. All of these things that I'm telling you guys is in-house developed. Interior upgrades include a 15.6-inch horizontal AMOLED display that I talked about in my last video, a digital rear view mirror, yes, a digital rear view mirror, 3 new interior themes, pearl and gray are available, NIO has also upgraded the seating with a 11-layer comfort system. 11-layer, 2-piece seat cushions and high resilience foam, improving comfort and ergonomics. The rear seat supports length is extended by 75mm. Insulation is boosted with infrared resistant laminated glass on the side windows, and a dual silver coated panoramic roof offers up to 99% IR rejection. And I remember talking to Jeff, aka NIO San Francisco, when he sat in an ET5 touring here in California, and you know, another person drove the car. He said the comfort he felt just sitting in the seat and the luxuriousness of the ride was unbelievable. He said you actually have to be in one to understand what he's talking about. So can you imagine now with the upgrade what's going on, guys? Unbelievable. NIO's in-house chip, I spoke about that. It is 4 times faster than NVIDIA, and it comes in the ET5 and ET5 Touring as well, which is 4 times faster than NVIDIA or an X chip, which is in-house developed. Combined with but why would they put it's combined with a 29 sensor suite, including a 300 line equivalent LiDAR and a 4D imaging radar. So it's coming with LiDAR and radar. But why is that? Because do they really need that? Because the last model has LiDAR. Well, here's why, guys. The system enables advanced driver assistant features. The car supports full domain lane level navigation using NIO's world model for predictive driving behavior and scene understanding. Boop! So it's coming with the NIO world model, our latest driving technology. And I showed a video where they drove it for, I don't know, it was like 35 kilometers from a parking garage through toll booths and everything without the driver having to take over. A major over-the-air update in late June will activate comprehensive guided pilot assistance. Woohoo! Both vehicles maintain the dual motor AWD system, producing 490 horsepower, 150 kilowatt front, 210 kilowatt rear, and 700 Nm of torque. Battery options remain the same with 75 kilowatt hours and 100 kilowatt hour packs, offering CLTC ranges of up to 585 kilometers for the ET5 and 550 kilometers for the ET5 Touring. A 150, this is the kicker here, guys, a 150 kilowatt hour pack is available via short-term rental, enabling a driving range of up to 1,055 kilometers under CLTC conditions. 1,055 kilometers. Unbelievable. The ET5 Touring additionally features a towing capability. Yes, it has towing capabilities of up to 1,400 kilogram and a 75 kilogram tongue load. So our buddy Money Making Melvin in Florida, he goes fishing a lot. He would love that. Comfort features include 14-way power adjustable seats. 14-way power adjustable seats with heating, hot stone heating, ventilation and massage, 23 speaker, 7.1.4 immersive audio, dual 50-watt wireless phone chargers, and an intelligent dimmable panoramic roof. A dimmable panoramic roof on the Touring only. Despite slightly higher prices than competitors like the Tesla Model 3, yes, it's only slightly higher, and Zeekr 007, NIO aims to differentiate with its technology, comfort, and ownership experience apart from the safety. In April 2005, NIO sold 2,015 ET5 and 6,015 units of the ET5 Touring, signaling strong demand for the wagon variant. So it's very exciting to see the kind of updates we're getting, guys. And with all of the in-house tech coming in these cars, saving huge on our margins, causing us, this is why one of the main reasons why the CEO said we're going to have a profitable month by the end of this year. So I hope you guys found this video yet again on a Sunday to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because on this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the game is played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.